The temp reads low and you wanna know where the wild winds blow. You're tuning in. Here we go. Hey! Below zero. Jason. Below zero. Joshua. Below zero. And Ryan. Below zero. Let's talk weather again.
We'll start it out, John. As I said, welcome in.
Yes.
You, I'm told, are a veteran storm chaser. You know, you've been in the Warden group with us. You've been in a couple of other groups. Tell us, what's the scariest tornado you've been into? Since that's the topic for today, tornadoes.
So the scariest tornado I have been in would have been the Rosebud, South Dakota tornado of last year. It was a high precipitation supercell, and the area that I was in was very spotty for Wi-Fi connection. So I didn't have a radar, and I had little to no visibility. And I ended up driving right into the circulation of the tornado and got turned around.
Oh, good Lord! I bet you that's scary, man.
It was very scary. I actually called my mother and I told her, I said, "Hey, I'm in a tornado. If I die, I love you." It was one of those situations.
Oh, good night.
Yeah, that's the type of scary that you're praying you get out alive, and after you do, you have to check your pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
And most of that was my fault. I hook sliced, and I know I shouldn't have hook sliced. And unfortunately, I made it out in one piece, and my vehicle made it out in one piece. But that is definitely a mistake that I will not be making again, especially this year.
Gotcha. And then just for anybody who's just getting into the weather, explain to us what a hook slice is.
A hook slice is, oh God, how do I explain that? I'm terrible at explaining things.
You're good, man. You're good.
Basically, you're not approaching the storm from the south or the southeast. You're going right into the notch.
Gotcha.
Right
So
where those
you're basically
influences are feeding into the storm, and it tends to get very messy in there, especially with rain and hail. You can run into RFD, rear flank downdraft winds. It's definitely not the place you want to be, especially if you're just beginning.
Gotcha.
So basically, is that the same kind of concept, like of the bear's cage, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Except you don't see the bear's cage. You just see rain.
Rain and hail and wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, good Lord.
Chaos, pretty much.
So for y'all, or for those of y'all who may not know, the U.S. does lead the world in tornado touchdowns. We're roughly averaging between 1,200 and 1,300 annual touchdowns. And with 2025 last year, that was brutal. We had 1,559 confirmed touchdowns. And that is yeah, man, that's 127% of the average, which is the 5th highest ever.
Dear God, and 68 of those fatalities was in the U.S. of 2025. I mean, up from the recent years, violent ones F4 to F5 caused most deaths, despite being rare. Less than 2%.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. We had the EF3. What was it? 2024. I think we talked about that on the last episode that come through Wilson County. That one actually touched down in our backyard. Basically hopped the house and went into the recycle phase, and then landed again in Lucama. And that was one of the deaths. Oh no, I'm sorry. You were talking about 2025. 2024 did count one death in North Carolina from that tornado. It's definitely mind blowing. Like the power that these things have. You know, you're thinking, oh, it's a scale from 1 to 5. You know, how bad could a 3 be? It can get devastating.
Oh, a 3 is very devastating.
Oh yeah. John, what is the highest rated tornado you've actually come across?
So I'm actually glad you asked that question. Earlier this year, I looked into all the confirmed tornadoes that I chased last year, with the smallest being an EFU, which was near Clark, and the largest being an EF2, which was the Rosebud tornado.
Mhm. Nice.
Okay, John, for the ones that don't particularly know the Enhanced Fujita scale, what is a EFU?
EFU tornado is think of it as an oversized dust devil. It doesn't form from an rotating updraft. It doesn't form from a wall cloud like a classic tornado does, and it doesn't form on a hot sunny day like a normal dust devil does. A lot of people refer to them as gustnados, where they're tornadoes formed from the gust front of a storm.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, typical wind speeds range from 90 to 100 miles an hour, and they may look harmless, but they are, like I said, 90 to 100 miles an hour will still rip off the roof of a building or flip your car into a ditch.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And another thing, so with the Enhanced Fujita scale, it's kind of weird because it doesn't measure like wind speed. You know, so like for a Category 3 hurricane, you know, you have X amount of wind speed, and once it passes that threshold, it's, you know, elevated to a Category 4. The EF scale, the Enhanced Fujita scale, is actually a damage scale, and it's only an estimate for the actual wind speeds. So just because something's an EFU does, like you said, you know, doesn't mean that it won't be insanely powerful.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we could take into account the Greenfield, Iowa tornado. The wind speeds were, I believe, 317 miles an hour, which is more than enough to classify it as a classic EF5. But
Ooh,
because of the lack of damage, it was only classified as an EF4.
good Lord. Yeah, that's insane.
Well, I
Now,
mean that that leads us back to here in Eastern Kentucky. Obviously, we had the Mayfield tornado that hit back in 2024. That one was a huge EF4 tornado, which it tracked all the way from Mayfield, Kentucky, all the way up to northern Kentucky. We tracked 160 some miles. I think it was 168. I'm not 100% sure on that, so folks don't hold me to that. But they called it the Tri-State Tornado. It started in Arkansas and ended in northern Kentucky. It did dissipate before going across the Kentucky line in Tennessee, and it regenerated. Basically, it got its act together, um, formed another monster, and took a lot of fatalities. But in 2012, March the 2nd, 2012, was the EF3 tornado that ripped through West Liberty, Salyersville, Prestonsburg, etc. That was the one that was really nasty. And well, that brings me to the next topic, the eastward shift. Okay, with everything that's going on with the tornadoes and stuff like that, we've been noticing a slight eastern shift. Um, normally Tornado Alley is expanding. I mean, that's basically it. Uh, More's hitting the southeast. The Appalachians, everybody knows there's some mountains. The Piedmont Gulf moisture, jet stream changes. You know, I think this season right here is going to be a season to remember.
Oh yeah, and then Ryan is out in roughly the Piedmont area. What do you think, Ryan? I mean, you see the eastern shift happening from Tornado Alley. I mean, mostly it's when you used to think about Tornado Alley. What you think about Oklahoma, Iowa, out west. You don't really think about North Carolina.
Don't you dare bet with me either, mister.
Yeah. And while we're on the topic of tornadoes, we could have some tomorrow even.
Uh-oh. Talk to
Say
me.
it isn't so.
Yeah, talk to me. What are you reading on?
I'm reading around Joshua's area. Possibly.
Uh-oh.
Does this mean I got to get my back helmet out again?
Probably.
Yeah, so that
You know what? I'm going to have to hunt for it.
Good Lord, man. Make sure you keep your wife tied down so she don't float away.
I want to tie her to the top of the roof and let her ask me how the hell feels. Because I need more data.
I need more data. Oh my goodness.
I'm not going to do that, folks. I am not going to do that. Okay. Don't get flustered and report me. I'm not going to do that because I value my life and I love my wife very much.
Well, I can confirm that hail does hurt.
Oh yeah, I can
Yes.
imagine. Speaking of that, so I hear that you have experienced gorilla hail.
Yes. This was back, I believe, July of 2023. We had a very isolated cell come up over the Missouri River, which here in South Dakota, if a storm is able to cross the Missouri River without dying out or splitting, it means business. And this was back when I was still fairly new. I didn't have any fancy radars. So I was using the local Kiloland radar. And the hail core on this thing was black.
Good night.
And I went out and I took a look at it, and there was just that feeling where my hair stood on end, and I went back into town and took shelter, and we had baseball and softball sized hail fall for a good 20 minutes.
I've got a fun fact for you guys.
What you got?
This is actually the largest hailstone that was ever recorded in American history. It was 8 inches in diameter. That's 20.3 centimeters. And it fell in Vivian, South Dakota, 2010.
Good night. Could you imagine?
And I have
Yes.
held the hailstone.
Hold, say that again.
I have held the hailstone.
Okay, tell us about that, man.
Yeah, I love this.
So this hailstone, I have a picture of it. You would be surprised on how dense a hailstone can actually get. And I remember watching this on the news when they were airing it. There were holes in cars, there were holes in people's roofs, there was craters in the ground from these hailstones. And the one particular stone I had was basically you take a lemon and add about 4 more lemons to that lemon. That was the size of this hailstone.
Good Lord, man.
So in circumference, you're talking about basically a basketball.
No, I wouldn't say a basketball. This thing was more or less
Be like a
soccer ball.
No, like a croquet ball, maybe.
Almost the size of a football.
Dear
Good
God.
night. Could you
It'd be
imagine
like
reading
looking,
that?
I'd be out there by my car. It's like, would you look at that?
Would you just look at that?
Would you just look at it?
Good
It put a
night.
big dent in my car. Now my
And
insurance is going to go through the roof.
Oh yeah, so that's
and
a go ahead.
the weight of the hailstone too, and I mentioned how dense it was. This hailstone was fairly heavy. I mean, this thing weighed a couple of pounds.
Good night.
So you can imagine a football weighing 2 pounds falling at terminal velocity from 60,000-70,000 feet in the air.
Oh yeah, that's gonna do some damage for sure.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, just imagine getting hit by that thing.
It's no lie. You know, you just imagine like some Amish guy plowing the fields or something. It's just like bam,
Yeah.
you know, out of nowhere. Fuck, I'm sorry, y'all. Daggone Jebediah takes a NFL hit to the daggone brain with no helmet. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that.
He was going to say Flintstone, y'all. That's
Yeah.
what he was going to say.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, Joshua was joking a minute ago about insurance rates going up, and that brought up a quick question, John. What are your insurance rates being a storm chaser? Like, how does that work? Do you get a discount, or is it higher than normal because you're chasing?
So I have full coverage for my Jeep. Obviously, full coverage. It's got to be full coverage in case anything happens to the Jeep.
Okay.
And I only pay, if I remember correctly,
You don't have to
about
give-
$350 a month.
Okay, I was gonna say you don't have to give out any numbers. I didn't know if maybe your premium was a little bit higher because of that, but being that you've got full coverage.
Oh, they don't know.
Oh. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, well, if you're listening, if the insurance companies are listening, that was a joke. He doesn't chase. This is all just make believe.
Yeah, this is delusional.
Yeah, this is pretend.
Yeah. Who are you?
What? Oh Lord.
Yeah, I chase in a 99 Pontiac. I don't chase him in Jeep.
There we go. I've seen him. And sometimes he'll roll out in an El Camino, and it's like, daggone, and I've seen him speed by one time in the El Camino, and who was it? Reed Timmer was pretty amazed at your whistling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on a cell that was developing just east of Oneida, South Dakota, and he was on his live stream, and I had passed him, and he made the comment that my anometer was whistling, and
Yeah.
I got a hold of him. I told him, yeah, no, that was my light bars. I got to fix that.
We was watching it on live stream, and I watched John literally go by Reed's with, and he was like,
Oh yeah, you could hear that thing from a mile away. You
I'm
should
like,
imagine how bad it was in the vehicle.
he is supersonic speed. He just passed Reed, and it literally just blew his back tires off.
Oh goodness. Goodness.
Oh.
All right, we'll move on to the next segment, which is basically tornado basics and why they matter locally. Ryan, are you able to see?
Yeah.
Do you have the talking points up?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for it.
All right, I was going to say if you scroll down to number 2, that's the tornado basics and why they matter. If you want to start that part off, and then Joshua, we can kind of go in from there.
All right.
You said the second one?
Yes, sir. Number 2, tornado basics and why they matter. And if you want, just just basically read it off. What the definition of a tornado is, and we'll get to the banter again.
definition of a tornado: violent, rotating, common.
Hmm.
Um, connecting thunderstorm base to ground. Funnel cloud, if aloft.
All right. So basically,
Right on.
yeah, basically, you heard the man. A tornado is basically a violent. I don't know how many times I can say basically. Violently rotating column that connects a thunderstorm base to the ground, and if it's still in the air, it's a funnel cloud. Joshua, run
Yes,
us,
sir.
run us by the difference between a funnel cloud and a touchdown tornado.
The difference between a funnel cloud and a touchdown tornado, your funnels are going to be literally mid air. Okay, you don't see any condensation coming up from the ground. There's no contact from the actual funnel cloud to the ground yet. Now, an actual tornado is when the tornado actually meets ground level, and you see dirt, debris. Sometimes tornadoes will not be fully condensed. They will be, it'll appear to, um, still have the funnel cloud there, and you'd think, well, there's not no condensation there, so it's still a funnel cloud. But in reality, there is. That's why we have storm chasers on the ground, to relay the information back to, the people inside the, studio, that meteorologist and, the news people. So they can, get the warnings out as they, transpire. So, that's basically it. I mean, once you see debris flying from the ground, yes, she's a tornado. If you don't see that, then it's still a funnel cloud. And please don't go out there and try to stand underneath of it.
Don't try to shoot fireworks into
I can see it. Yeah, don't shoot fireworks in it either.
Oh man. And
Yeah.
not every tornado is not going to be the same. There's different types, different
No.
sizes. So you have the rope, which is going to be a skinny, twisted tornado type deal. You've got your cone, your wedge. Wedges are the massive walls, and Kentucky had a deadly wedge last year.
Yes, they did. That was the 2024 West Liberty, not West Liberty. I am so sorry. That was the 2024 Mayfield tornado. It was a massive, massive wedge. And what made it worse, it was a nocturnal tornado. So even though the warning was there and put out in a timely manner, still, that is a rural community, pretty much. Not a lot of advanced technology. Yet some towns don't have the sirens like normal towns would. So the warning was, not taken or heard, I guess, most people. And sadly, they were, some fatalities.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's bound to happen, especially with a wedge. Something that's massive. But another one, I'm not trying to, get off the subject, but the last shape, we have a multi-vortex. And when they have subvortices, that's going to boost chaos. That's just craziness. Twins or triplets, definitely insane.
Oh yeah, the most deadliest tornadoes, or the EF5s. If you ever seen it on TV, they call it the dead man walking. Usually when that shows up, when you got subvortices, completely wrapping around the wedge, and it's basically looks like it's walking. that shows them little subvortices that's reaching out basically is grabbing more moist, rich air and pulling it into the storm to further strengthen this thing.
Now, John,
Yeah.
if you had to choose between chasing a wedge versus a multi-vortex, which would you go after?
So, if I had to choose, and this is actually a very difficult choice because I would love to see both. But a wedge. I would choose a wedge over a multi-vortex. Because when you got all those little vortices dancing around underneath that rotating column, they go wherever they want to go. There's no predicting. They could lunge out. They could. They're erratic. They have minds of their own, and one of those, and I'm going to bring it up, is the El Reno, Oklahoma tornado.
Oh yes,
Back in
sir.
2013. That was a 2.6 mile wedge with multiple subvortices orbiting around it. And one of those vortices unfortunately took the lives of 3 chasers: Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and Carl Young.
Yep.
Some of the safest chasers on the road, and they were unfortunately taken by a multi-vortex wedge tornado.
And John, that was also the one that the team of Mike Bettis was involved in as well, correct?
The tornado hunt team?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were caught off guard by one of the subvortices as well, and one of their vehicles was thrown into a ditch, and the other one was picked up and rolled into a field. I think they said it was like 100 yards.
Yes, it was
Lord.
barrel rolled. That car looked like it had just went through the shredders. I mean, it's amazing. God was with them that night. I mean, this car looked like, hey, if you saw it, you would not think that there was any survivors. Period.
Well, yeah, he said 100 yards it went. That's like that's a football field.
That is a football field.
Good night.
Got another one for you.
Yep, go ahead.
Would you rather be hit with a 6-inch gorilla hailstone or struck by lightning again?
Oh. I would say get struck by lightning because there's a chance of surviving that, but if you get hit in the head with a chunk of ice that's 6 inches, you're not surviving that.
No. Very smart man.
And let me tell you, that bolt of lightning was pretty energizing.
Oh, yeah, tell us about that real quick.
So I was chasing a level 3 out of 5 severe setup in central South Dakota, right along I-90. And once again, bad connection had gotten the best of me. I lost contact with the team, and I lost all radar. And one thing that I forgot to watch out for was positive CG lightning. So I'm parked in a gas station in Reliance, South Dakota, filming, and a bolt of lightning hits the ground about 50 feet away, and one of the little tendrils reaches over and zaps me in the arm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nah.
Electricity
and I still have the scar from that too. I mean, it left a pretty gnarly scar on my hand.
Good Lord, man. I'm glad you're not hurt terribly. That would definitely scare the crap out of me, man.
Oh yeah, I was screaming and hollering on the radio, but because there was no internet connection, I couldn't get to anybody. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going, and I kept chasing that storm.
Good Lord.
It was the wild one.
Oh yeah. Ryan, when are the peak seasons usually for the tornadoes?
Peak season is March through June. Daytime heating max, but anytime winter ones possible. 2025 highlights record March 300 tornadoes. Actively heavy in Southern Pines, Gulf Coast, Mid Mississippi, and Ohio valleys. All regions saw upticks.
Oh yeah, and that goes back to, like Joshua was saying, Tornado Alley is starting to widen up a little bit. Moving eastwards.
Yeah, and, I have to apologize to you, Jason. I forgot. My mind was way off on left field somewhere. You were correct about the last year's London, Kentucky tornado that tore through the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Mhm.
It was now London, Kentucky is exactly 2 hours due west of my location. And I was at work. It was on a Saturday or Friday night. I think Friday night or Saturday night or something like that. And I was watching it live on Ryan Hall, y'all. Always remember, don't be scared, be prepared, like he says. And this tornado was on the ground. It was literally on the ground for maybe 5 minutes before the National Weather Service even warned it. But once they did warn it, it went PDS automatically. It started as an EF3. Once it got into the Daniel Boone National Forest area, it quickly grew into intensity and became a absolute monstrous EF4. Like I said, I was working that night, and all I could think was, my God, is this thing? It was tracking towards my location, and I was just thinking, like, I'm going to have to evacuate, my house, because I don't know which way this thing's going to travel. If it's going to stay on the ground from London to my location. Luckily, it dissipated to just a few miles just east of Highway 80, in just north of London. So it was a very, very scary situation, I have to say.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
I believe I was on the radio with you that night.
Yeah, you was. And my crazy hiney decided I was gonna go outside and sit on the porch during the lightning storm.
Yeah.
One thing that I did find out now, okay, this may shock you, but water is wet.
Oh my goodness. All right, moving in. So we know, kind of about, why tornadoes matter, the shapes, the sizes. Let's get into how they form. Joshua, how does it start?
Well, it starts like hot air from my wife's mouth. No, I'm just kidding. No. Tornadoes start with a supercell. Okay, that's basically a rotating thunderstorm. Mesocyclone. Basically, the key ingredients are warm air from the mouth of my beautiful wife. Sometimes it does fuel by the Gulf. I'm just kidding. Most of the time, it feels by the Gulf. Airload, cold, dry air aloft. Explosive updrafts, wind shear, speed direction changes, horizontal spin tubes tilt vertically. I said tilting. RFD. Now, for the people that don't know what RFD is, and most chasers get caught in this all the time, and winds can get really strong. It's called the rear flank downdraft. It basically is shooting bad air out and rotating it around the storm and shooting it back into the storm, further strengthening the tornado, pretty much. RFD, it tightens rotation, wall cloud funnel, touchdown. It can ramp up often 10 to 15 minutes. Warning, life or death. Debris clouds visible even without funnels. It doesn't have to be fully condensed before it can be visible at ground level. Subvortices, you can have multiple subvortices outside of the main circulation. And these subvortices create extreme damage patterns.
Now, John, while we've got you here, what do you look for out of everything? I guess what's your prerequisites to actually go and chase System A as opposed to System B?
So typically, when you're looking for supercellular thunderstorms, you're looking for 9 times out of 10 the southern storm. If they split. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. Radar will give you a good look at hook echoes and hail cores. Velocity will show you the ins and outs of wind direction. And you're looking at velocity, you're looking at the greens and reds to start converging and creating an S shape. That's going to be where your rotation's going to be. And you kind of want to match that up with where the southeastern edge of the storm is going to be, because that's where most tornadoes form, is on the southeastern end of a supercell where the updraft is. When I'm forecasting tornadoes, you're looking at all sorts of things. You're looking at parameters, supercell composites, tornado parameters. You're looking at helicity composites. And you're also wanting to look at autographs and skew-tees in sounding diagrams. And that will show you your shear, that will show you your cave values, your moistures, where your cap is at. There's a lot of small pieces that come together when it comes to looking for the right storm and finding that tornado. Now, not every supercell produces a tornado. It's only 1 in 5 supercells that produces a tornado. Why that is, nobody knows. It's just whatever ingredient is there that we can't find yet is what's producing the tornadoes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
And, I wanted to touch base on this too, Jason. There are several types of supercell thunderstorms. Okay, you got your low precip supercells that rarely produce tornadoes. Lots of lightning, lots of CG lightning, but normally no rain at all, if any. A regular supercell, all the normal stuff with it, and you get a high precipitation supercell. These where it gets really deadly when storm chasing. These high precipitation supercells can often rain wrap tornadoes, and it's like I said, it's extremely difficult for any storm chaser to navigate. Like I always say, whenever you're in that scenario, you make sure you have an escape route. Make sure you know where your location is at all times, and stay in communication with one another. If you're chasing with another partner, make sure that you're talking and getting, somebody to talk to you back, and showing your location and what radar looks like and stuff. Don't do it while you're driving. For the love of God, please do not try to chase and look at radar at the same time. That is extremely dangerous. That could cause accidents and possibly cost your life and somebody else's.
Oh, most definitely. So moving on, we'll jump into the EF scale and its raw power. Ryan, what
I
is
love this.
Ryan? What does EF stand for?
Um, EF stands for Enhanced Fujita scale.
Okay, and what is that? What does that like tell us? What does it measure?
Like EF 0, 65 to 85 mile per hour winds minor, and EF 1 is 86 to 110 miles per hour moderate, and EF 2 to EF 3 111 through 165 considerable severe.
Okay. And then you got your EF4 and EF5. Those are both going to be 166 plus. Those are violent, deadly, rare ones. But they're the deadliest out of them all. They'll have the most fatalities. Last year in
The finger of God.
yeah. But last year in 2025, we had 5 EF4s. That was going to be in March. That was Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. And then in May, we had Illinois and Kentucky. And with the first EF5 since 2013, like John was saying, out of Enderlin, North Dakota, that was June 20th. And that one had 3 deaths.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just... it's raw power of Mother Nature, man. And the movies and TV shows, they try to get as accurate as they can get. But I can almost guarantee seeing a tornado on the movie Twister, it just it doesn't do it justice. Like it's just so much raw power.
And another thing, do you remember? I don't know if it was last year. John, you may want to help me out on this one. You might remember too. It was in southeast Oklahoma. It was a anticyclonic tornado that was going to the east, veered off to the northeast, then to the north, then started veering back to the northwest. Do you remember that one?
I don't think I do remember that one.
That one was, I can't remember exactly where it was at. I would probably have to do a little bit of research on it, but it basically was a humongous supercell that just sat there, and it went anticyclonic, and it started to it basically rotated on its own self, but it choked itself off and it died after it moved back, tried to go back to the northwest. It was a little bit wild.
Shoot. Oh, I
looked
can,
at it.
yeah, I can imagine. If you look it up before the end of the episode, come back to us with us.
I will.
Moving on, we've got a couple more segments. And if y'all can't tell, this is kind of a newer style than the other 3 episodes. Trying something new for fluidity. But going into the major outbreaks and then the 2025 events, you know, we all know the classics, the tri-state 1925, that was 695 plus dead. The 1974 super outbreak, and then the 2011 Joplin and the Southeast hits. But moving down to 2025, there's a few of them that stand out. Ryan, you want to rattle those off real quick?
Let's see. I think it's March 13th through. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is that right? March 13th through 16th. Record March outbreak 118 plus tornadoes. 3 EF4s. Multiple deaths. Midwest, Southeast. April 2nd through the 4th. High risk days. EF3s. Deadly, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Kentucky. May 15th through the 16th, deadliest, Somerset, London, Kentucky, EF4, 19 killed, years worse, EF4s, Illinois, Missouri, St. Louis, wedge, June 20th, EF5, North Dakota, total impact beings and damage, Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois, hardest, North Carolina, scattered but real, Gulf ties.
Ooh, and you said billions of damage.
Oh yeah.
You know, John, that leads me to a question. So we hear that you have got an opportunity on a recovery team.
I do. Excuse me. So I attended the 2026 National Storm Chaser Summit, and while I was there, I got to talking with Reaper Storm Chasers, and I had mentioned about wanting to join Team Dominator Storm Recovery, and they got me in touch with the president of the Team Dominator Storm Recovery team. And she is extremely interested in getting me on the team with my history in search and rescue and first aid, being in the Civil Air Patrol when I was younger. And I have an interview set up for sometime next week. We're not quite sure on a date yet, but I should be getting that possibly tomorrow.
Ooh, nice. And so for those of y'all who might not know Team Dominator, that's Reed Timmer's group. What exactly would you be doing, or are you able to tell us, you know, what would you be doing if you did get onto the recovery team?
So the gist of the recovery team, from what I know right now, is exactly what it is storm recovery. So that entails assisting with cleanup, assisting with search and rescue, being the first on scene and giving first aid until first responders arrive. In some unfortunate cases, search and recovery, finding people who unfortunately didn't make it. The whole thing is being there first if first responders cannot get there.
Gotcha. So y'all are the first boots on the ground of the affected area, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. That'll bring us to our final segment. This is going to be for safety. Any myths and any takeaways from today. I want to start off by saying if you hear a tornado warning, act immediately. As soon as you hear that, try to get to the lowest interior room, no windows. The basement, is ideal. Try to get you mattresses and blankets. If you're in a car, get to a low ditch, cover your head. Never try to outrun a tornado. It's highly unlikely that you'll make it. Joshua, what are some of the myths about safety?
Well, I really like this one, and this one busts my rear end. I've seen it so many times in movies, and it really upsets me,
Was it in a Twister movie?
folks. Yes, it was in the Night of the Twisters. To be honest with you, a very great movie. I love it. But please, during a tornado, do not take time to go open your windows. That is so just beyond my imagination. Why somebody would won't even open up a window during a tornado? Like, oh wow, a tornado's in my backyard. Hold on, I gotta open my window to save some air. Good lord, no, don't do it.
Good
I want that
Lord.
And
cold breeze.
Go ahead. What
it's
was that?
like,
Oh, go ahead. I thought John said something.
I thought he did too.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I want that cool breeze.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, there went a 2x4 by my head, man. Good lord.
I was just trying to find
Yeah, I
my
mean, I
car.
might close it back down.
Yeah. What about
Goodness.
Joshua? So all right, so let's say I'm back in my car. Should we try to hide under overpasses?
No,
Why? I
no,
mean, we see that,
absolutely
you
not.
see that on the TV and whatnot. Why should we not do that?
Think about it being in a suck zone. Okay. You're under an overpass. Winds get forced down to the lowest part. Okay. It's a tunnel effect. If you get wind speeds, yeah, wind speeds, that's nice. Wind speeds of 150 to 200 miles an hour, and you've got a little tight space like an overpass, that wind that cuts through there accelerates. Okay. You do not want to get under an overpass. Several movie scenes, people park underneath overpasses and they get themselves sucked out. You know, it's happened. A lot of lives are lost due to negligence of people parking underneath overpasses. No, do not, do not, do not do it.
And that also brings the simple fact that you've got something moving, potentially 160 miles an hour violently. If you're under an overpass, I'm almost certain that that tornado can take that overpass out. So you're going to have concrete, whatnot, falling on you.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got, uh, pretty much, I mean, it would have to be, you know, the enhanced Fujita scale would have to max out before we would lose bridges. But I mean, you got other types of material that's hurtling through the air, sheet metal, debris. I mean, just 2x4s, rocks, asphalt, people, cars.
Cows.
I mean, cows. Yeah, and there goes the cow, man. Nope, that's the same cow. And the myth that that tornadoes can skip cities, hills, and rivers. Lies.
What? You telling me that a tornado can't skip over a city or a hill? It doesn't go.
No.
It just won't stop over. Hop over a river.
No, a tornado is not a solid mass.
All right, now
Okay, it's just a
go ahead.
There you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, can they happen at night? Because I've heard somebody tell me that they don't happen at night, and they could pull up telephone poles.
Oh my goodness. Yes, tornadoes can happen at night, and they're more common than you think. Most tornadoes actually happen at night than during the day. I've noticed this in the trend. It's what the uptrend is now. You hear more about nighttime tornadoes, which are nocturnal tornadoes. Um, they happen more frequently. Um, you know,
Well,
a tornado is. Go ahead.
I was going to say that the tornado that touched down in Wilson in our backyard. Well, that was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I blew your phone up as soon as that one hit.
Oh yeah, that was a. You're lucky that didn't took a direct hit on your neighborhood. That would have been
Man,
catastrophic.
you ain't lying.
I mean, and it's wild. People think well, tornado is a mass, so it's just going to bounce. Like in the valley, it's going to bounce off these mountainsides. No, honey, I'm sorry, it's not. Yeah, tornado is not a solid mass. It is a rapidly rotating column of air.
Oh yeah.
It is, and it will go through a mountain. It doesn't have to have that mountain to like halt, stop. It don't. Like I mean, it just it just cross over that mountain, tear out a path of trees, then get down in the valley and rip some more trees out, then do the same thing over and over and over until it's done.
Oh yeah. And speaking of scarring paths, that London, Kentucky, that scar. What you sent me the scar from London, and I think that was every bit of like 2.5 miles wide, wasn't it?
It was a little over a mile and a half. Well, let's say a mile wide at the strongest point. Going through the Daniel Boone National Forest, it was 1 mile wide. It was a large, violent EF4. It did lose some intensity after it got to out of the Daniel Boone National Forest and got into London, but it did quickly regain strength after it started, unfortunately, chewing through the neighborhood. It regained strength once again. After it did that, it went across the road and into another national park and laid trees down and stuff like that and power lines and destroyed a couple buildings before it lifted.
Good night.
So historically, that was probably of Eastern Kentucky. That was Eastern Kentucky's deadliest tornado so far.
Well, that's insane, man. Ryan, moving on to like preparation tips. What kind of tips can you give us? No, is Ryan in here?
He might have fell asleep, shit.
His mic's muted. All right, John.
Can you hear me?
Yep, there we go.
He might have been dreaming about that.
It was muted. But pro tips. NOAA weather radio.
Mm.
Amps. Safe rooms, and more common posts 25, community awareness saves lives.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So going off of NOAA radio, John, do you use NOAA radio?
I do. I always have a NOAA radio in my vehicle at all times. I also have a NOAA radio app on my phone that whenever I'm chasing or if I'm not chasing and we're due for some severe weather, I'll have playing on some headphones or I'll periodically listen into throughout the day.
Mm, okay. And what? So you said you've got the NOAA radio app. Are there any other apps that you use to help prepare?
I wouldn't say apps, but I definitely look at the SPC websites, the Storm Prediction Center websites, looking at the risk for the day or the risk for the following days. I also use those for which days I want to watch out for when it comes to storm chasing. Obviously, higher active days are days that I'm going to be looking for. General thunderstorm days are just kind of, we're just getting some rain. But I think the most common site I use, if I don't use the official SPC website, is tornadohq.com. And that gives me a list of all of I lost my train of thought again. It gives me the same outlooks as what you get off the SPC website, but also gives you a list of current warnings out there, whether they be thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, marine warnings. Always having some sort of tool at your disposal will give you a lot more warning time than just waiting for that alert to show up on your phone or a siren to go off.
Gotcha. Yeah, right on. So that's pretty much our full segment. This last little bit is pretty much just going to be basic interview questions. So yeah, Joshua, you wanna lead off of that one?
Yeah, I looked at fact up that I was talking about earlier. In fact, that anticyclonic tornado happened on 5/18/2025. It was in Arnett, Oklahoma. It was a anticyclonic. I don't know if they ever got the rate. And I'm thinking it was an EF3 or maybe an EF4, but it quickly turned into a wedge there a little bit. I do remember watching this on radar, and the tornado did start off moving very slowly. I mean, it just literally stayed in the same spot. I think it moved like maybe 2 or 3 mile an hour, then started to rotate back to the northwest. Then eventually tried to go back to the west before it actually choked itself off and it died. So, yeah, John, what's your negative and your positive takeaways during storm chasing?
The biggest negative would definitely be the driving.
Yeah.
You could do hours of driving just to get 15 minutes of adrenaline from a storm. The other thing, storm chasing is very expensive. You can't just take a couple of bucks and expect to catch a storm unless it's in your town. As for pros, I mean, the reward at the long drive, all the gas station stops, all the, in Reed Timmer's case, the bean burritos.
Yeah. He's going to turn into a bean burrito.
Just catching that storm is all the reward in the world from all that hard work, from the days of watching models and forecasting to the day of and running the her models and staring at SKUTs all day. Just seeing a storm is the pro in all of it. Then obviously there's the unfortunate times where a storm does impact a community and causes destruction and sometimes even death. And
yeah.
that's just something that any chaser has got to be prepared to see. I mean, you're basically just signing up for that. Seeing a community get destroyed or someone get hurt. It's Mother Nature, and she's going to do what she wants, whether you like it or not.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Let me ask you this: what essential equipment do you bring with you on every chase? Like, what's your EDC, and what would you never leave home without?
So my list of things I take with me is my live streaming camera, my computer to hook my camera up to for live streaming, my Canon for photography and videography, my phone, my first aid kit, extra chargers, drinks, snacks, an extra pair of underwear if I need it.
Amen, brother.
You always want, if you're going on a chase, you always want to make sure you have at least a half a tank of gas and some gas money. Because the last thing you want is to be stranded on the side of the road.
And don't forget to bring snacks.
Yeah, snacks. Snacks are very important, especially if you don't have time to stop at the gas station to get some to eat. And then on my vehicle, I have light bars, and I've got an ambient weather station for wind direction, wind speed, rainfall. I can look at humidity levels, radiation levels, pressures, and I can see all of that without even having to step out of my vehicle. Now, as for something that I would absolutely never leave home without, would be my phone. That is my main source of communication. That's my radar. That's everything.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Ryan, you got any questions for John?
Do you have like a scanner or CB radio you use?
So I am FCC certified, and I'm looking at getting a CB radio installed in my vehicle at some point, especially now that I have a small team up here in the upper Midwest. But right now, I just use the Zello app, which is basically the same thing, and it's free. I don't have to do a lot of wiring and installation in my vehicle. But at some point, I do want to do a CB radio and possibly some other fun antennas for boosting my cell signals and whatnot.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
and
Go ahead.
I want to mention one thing that I had on my mind too, and it is crazy. Okay, when the Storm Protection Center puts out an outlook for your location, and you're out in the field and that SBC outlook doesn't verify, don't get mad at the meteorologist that put this, outlook out. They're just looking at weather model data and, trying to figure out where everything is going to go. Sometimes, things don't align like they're supposed to, and especially like in the motor, you got a area that's enhanced, but the cap doesn't break. There's just not enough heating to allow that cap to break. Don't get mad and mouth off at a radiologist because they're just doing the job too. And that's why we call forecasting. It's bang or bust.
Oh yeah. Next question, John, which you've already kind of answered. But do you usually chase solo with a small team, or are you part of a larger group? And then a follow-up to that one is, what makes a good chase partner or team dynamic for you?
So normally I do chase alone. Occasionally I do bring people along with me. I've got 2 people here in Pier that I'm currently training, and I'll take them out with me if they have the chance to, and I throw them the ropes. I've got 1 team member in Sioux Falls. He's a meteorologist and storm chaser, and we just picked up one out of Minnesota who's a storm chaser. So we've got a pretty little tight-knit team, very small team. And personally, that's how I like it, because there's not a lot of extra chatter. There's not confusion going on, and everybody can communicate clearly without somebody else telling them that they're wrong. And what was the second half of that question?
It was. Give me a moment. Good Lord. What is it? Hang on. I've done lost it.
Do you hear that staticky noise?
Yeah, I don't know what that noise is.
I
It's
don't
coming
either.
from Ryan.
Uh-oh.
Ryan, are you trying to summons the Martians?
No.
Your headset sounds like it is.
I honestly forgot to put the headset on.
Uh-oh.
I can do it for the last little bit.
Uh-oh. Slacking.
Second part to that, John, I apologize, is what makes an ideal, chase partner? Like, what do you look for? What kind of dynamic do you look for in somebody who you want to bring onto a team?
Professionalism, knowledge. Someone who's not going to freak out and yank my steering wheel away from me and cause an accident.
Yeah.
Good night.
There is one particular person that has been wanting to chase with me, and for various reasons, I will refuse every time they request to chase with me, just because of their previous behavior. When even just looking at a radar,
Uh-oh.
they will freak out and have a panic attack.
Okay.
I'm looking for someone that I can 100% trust will keep us both safe, and obviously has the knowledge required to effectively do the job.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Navigation is key.
Yes.
You don't want to end up in a field in Uganda.
Yeah.
So all right. So John, you've already mentioned like your essential, your EDC, what you bring to the field. So once you get the data and your real-time observations, how do you go about sharing those to like the NWS, to the media, or to the public? How do you go about getting that information out as a in the field chaser?
So I have various tools. I'll contact the National Weather Service if the need is dire.
Mhm.
I'll send in a report through Spotter Network, which really isn't relevant anymore, but believe it or not, people still see the reports on there.
Mhm.
I post updates to my TikTok and my Facebook.
Oh, you want to give
And
those?
starting this year,
I'm sorry. You want to give those handles out to us?
Storm Chaser John Hall on TikTok and Facebook. However, there's going to be 2 accounts on Facebook. One has 2,000 followers, and unfortunately, that one was hacked, and Facebook refuses to give it back. So
Curse you, Facebook.
Yeah.
the account you're looking for has only 10 followers right now.
Okay.
And starting this year, I'll be under the same tag on YouTube, and I will be live streaming my chases there to get real-time updates in the field as they're happening.
Oh, snap. That was a beautiful little segue because that kind of, that goes into the question that I had just asked. Yeah, if you want to, John, after this is all done, me or Joshua will reach out and we'll get those handles and we'll put them into the description for anybody who wants to, check you out.
All right, sounds good.
Absolutely.
Joshua or Ryan, do y'all have any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a severe thunderstorm that's went tornado? Well, that had a tornado on the ground that never was warned. How can I word this? That went unnoticed, but was reported via live stream.
Yes, that was during Midsummer Chase last year. I was chasing an isolated supercell with a very large hail core, and there was some power flash hidden in the rain. And I had called I had one of my team members call the National Weather Service for me because I was live on Facebook. And the National Weather Service took one look at it and refused to warn it.
What?
And, that stuff is dangerous. Especially, thank God that it was, pretty much out in the open field and there wasn't nothing close or, near homes like, that could have been really catastrophic. That is crazy. I mean, that's crazy. If you had one thing to change about the warning systems, what would it be?
Take the people on the ground a little more seriously. Just because you don't see it on your radar doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that is true.
I mean that's the point of Skywarn too, right? Like, y'all are out there for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, we don't go training through NWS to just, say to hear a head rattle. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's just a gust NATO on the ground, it's still going to cause damage, and it still needs to be put out there in one way or another, whether it be a tornado warning or have that severe thunderstorm tag upgraded. It really doesn't matter if there's something on the ground and doing damage. It's got to be taken seriously.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And one thing I wanted to touch up on too, because I've heard a lot of debates about this in recent days. Obviously, there's the wildfires going on across the United States. There were some in Kansas yesterday that prompted some evacuations of the city. Some was reporting a firenado. John, explain to the people what the difference between an actual tornado and a firenado actually is.
So the tornado, like we explained earlier, is formed from a vertically rotating updraft of a supercell. Usually a mesocyclone and a wall cloud are involved, and it forms from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
A firenado is formed similar with a rotating column of air being shot up at very high rates. I worded that terribly, but it's not formed from a thunderstorm.
Hmm.
So when you have all of that dry, hot air coming off of that fire and it's sending plumes of smoke into the air, it's just like a thunderstorm. And sometimes when that air gets shot up, it stretches and it starts to rotate.
Mm-hmm.
And fire tornadoes. And fire tornadoes are very similar to dust devils, just made of fire. They can produce very strong winds. They could be anywhere from a few feet wide to there's been cases where there's been tornadoes fire tornadoes several hundred yards wide.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much they're not a real tornado.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's where a clarification I wanted to get, because I've been seeing a lot of folks on recent posts throughout, social media that have been, proclaiming that a fire tornado is actually in fact a tornado, and I wanted to get pretty much to clear the air on that.
Yeah. Basically all they are just dust devils made of fire.
Daggone. Now,
And they also can be destructive.
Very much so. I mean, the heat inside of those fire tornadoes can actually get a lot warmer than the fire around them just because of that the condensed air. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it.
Are we looking at more than 1,000 degrees Celsius?
I don't know if I can answer that one.
Let me do a little research here.
And that's only because wildfires really, I'm not very well educated in wildfires, even though we have them all the time here, the Black Hills. That's kind of like snow. I really don't want to mess with it.
Gotcha.
But they can get substantially hotter than the surrounding fire.
Now, what about sharknadoes?
Oh god, don't get me started on those.
Sharknado.
So the myth behind water spouts or sharknadoes is they can suck fish out of the water. They cannot.
Okay.
They're on the surface. They're not anywhere near below the surface of the water. They're just basically dust tornadoes over water. They're not really doing anything under the surface. So
it's like skipping a rock across the lake.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Brian, you got any questions?
I don't believe so.
All right.
Okay. A fire tornado, which is called a fire whirls, typically reaches core temperatures of 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 980 degrees Celsius to 1,090 degrees Celsius through extreme violent examples can soar to over 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit, 1,480 degrees Celsius.
Good Lord.
So yeah, definitely don't sit in your car if one of those is approaching you, because it will melt the metal in your car.
Yeah, I can't find my car, man.
Oh man. You got any other questions, Joshua?
I can't think of any.
All right. I was gonna say I do have one or two more for you, John.
Yep.
If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing that you've learned about long-term chasing, whether it's mental, physical, or strategic, what would it be?
Get good at math really quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Quit.
I still struggle with the math aspects. That's why I forecast with color, shapes, and patterns.
Right
Yeah,
on.
and red crayons.
Yeah,
Exactly.
love it. And then looking at the next 10 years, what emerging tech or research do you think would crack open any of the key unknowns in tornado genesis?
One of the things that we really need to pinpoint is why tornadoes happen.
Mhm.
We know what the ingredients are, but the question is why.
Mhm.
And that's one of those things where we may not know if we can't figure out how to measure or what data we need to collect.
Mhm.
That's what makes the most dangerous thing on the planet is you can have a supercell not produce a tornado and have four others after that still not produce a tornado, but then you get that one and you're conditioned to the tornado watch, you're conditioned to the sirens and nothing happening, and then that one happens and you're just unprepared, caught off guard. We really need to figure out the why.
Gotcha.
So I've got one question I just thought of. Do you think, in your own words, that the EF scale, now the Enhanced Fujita scale, needs tweaked?
Oh, that question. Um, you know, how do I answer it? There needs to be better looking into when it comes to tornadoes that are out in the open.
Yep.
They're not doing damage, so it's harder to confirm the wind speeds. But I think, God, how do I explain it?
I'm sorry for picking your brain with that one.
No, because that's actually something that I have been thinking about for quite some time now, and I really can't decide if it needs to be tweaked or not. There's people that say it does, and there's people that say it doesn't. And both sides have very valid points. And it's really hard to choose which side to go with.
It's like, wasn't it the El Reno tornado that the wind speeds was recorded over 300 miles an hour?
Yep, and I believe they only rated that one an EF3.
Yeah, that was very, very surprising and a little disappointing because that thing was a 2.6 mile wide wedge.
Wow.
And
What was that?
yep,
No idea.
that
Okay.
one honestly was the one that was my phone. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
But that
and I
that
forgot
El
to
Reno
mute it.
tornado was basically a planet. I mean, you had four smaller tornadoes orbiting around it like planets, and the circulation of it was so strong that it actually spun up an anticyclonic tornado not too far away.
Whew. Forget that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is wild, and like I said, I think this year is going to be a wild year for severe weather, uh, especially in the east. Um, as like we touched on base about the, uh, um, you know, tornado alley is shifting. That's evident with last year's tornado. Nobody would have expected there would be a massive F4 tornado ripped through the heartland of eastern Kentucky. But unfortunately, it did, and it's it's unfortunate, you know.
Oh yeah. Daggone.
And you know, there's still businesses that still haven't fully recuperated after this. You know, they're still trying to rebuild.
Shoot, yeah. I couldn't imagine, the devastation. We've been on for roughly about an hour and a half now, y'all. Is not trying to push us off. Are there any other questions for John while we're here?
Would you like to get any shout outs, John, to any in particular people? You know, people that you might be having listening to us tonight, or anything of that matter?
So, if I were to give a shout out to anybody, it would be, people like Reed Timmer, Sean Casey, Josh Werman, the people that I watched growing up watching Storm Chasers on Discovery. Basically, is why I do what I do today. They were the biggest inspirations. And honestly, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be chasing had I not learned what storm chasing was at such a young age.
Absolutely, that's wonderful.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
There's some good people, very good people.
Ryan, you got anything?
I while we on the tornado subject, I do got a small little story of my 2011 experience.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Had two tornadoes in Portland County. One was rain wrap, headed right for where I was. And I didn't have no vehicle because the wind that day blew my passenger side window out, and so my friend, teacher friend, she came and got me, and I think she even drove through a circulation. She had wind and hail and debris, and she came and got me, and I went to her house for the rest of the time.
Wow. So that's some dangerous stuff right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and before I forget, John forgot to mention to people that you do have a new restaurant that you are opening up. Hopefully he has the tornado burger pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
So we've actually been open since October of last year, and we don't have a tornado burger, but we've got
Man.
a lot of great selections at very affordable prices. So if there's any chasers that are listening, look up Dockside, just north of Pierce, South Dakota. Very friendly atmosphere and very cheap food, very great quality food. But
Yeah.
and I really don't want to like advertise my restaurant on the podcast, but
Hey man, go for it.
Yeah, feel free to stop by. I mean, I would love the restaurant to kind of be a spot for chasers to go to enjoy a nice quality meal for affordable prices.
Yeah, whenever y'all, whoever stops up there, give Big John a hug for all of us.
Oh yeah, give them a good tip too.
That's right.
Right on.
Well, geez, I just made like 100, almost $200 in tips on Tuesday.
They don't need to
There
know
you
that.
go.
They don't need to know that.
Tipsy Tuesday.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is good because I have to tear apart my PVC hail cage and turn it into a steel hail cage because I wasn't thinking of the shattering aspect.
Oh, hell no.
Good Lord.
So
You see how
I
those
will be
worded that.
targeting softball hail cores this year.
Woo. Yeah, good luck with that, man. Good luck
Yeah.
with that. Right on.
Gorilla dingers.
There you go. John, is there anything that we may not have covered? Anything that you've been dying to say? Is there any knowledge that you want to drop to us before we end the podcast?
So if there's anybody listening that is thinking about getting into storm chasing, knowledge, learn, read, get training done. Especially if you're 15, 16, 17 years old and you just got your driver's license, don't just go driving into a storm without the proper training. Please don't do that. Not just because I'm scared of your driving, but there's a high chance that you will misjudge the storm you're looking at and could get yourself hurt. If you're looking for going into meteorology, get off the phone. Put your nose in that book and do good in school. Because you're not going to go anywhere if you skip school, slack off, and sit on your phone all day.
There you go.
Yeah, don't be a slouch potato.
Yep.
And storm chasing is a passion. And if you don't have the passion for storm chasing, you're not going to be good at it. You're going to constantly make mistakes. You're going to get people hurt. You've got to pay attention. You've got to have that fire to effectively do your job. Don't be a clout chaser. Don't do it for the views. Do it for the people. Do for the people that don't get the warnings. Do for the people who are trapped under buildings and there's no fire rescue around. Do it for them. Don't do it for yourself.
Well said.
Exactly. Location.
There you go. Right on. Well, if nobody else has anything to add in, I reckon we'll go ahead and end it here. Anybody, any objections?
No, sir, Bob.
No.
Right on. Well, thank you for joining in, John. It was a pleasure. This is our longest podcast to date, which is pretty good, man. It was a pleasure having you on. You're full of knowledge. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. It was really fun.
Very smart man.
Oh yeah. So with that being said, this was a new format in the show. Hopefully y'all liked it. It is less scripted, if at all none. But you're listening to Below Zero, a weather podcast. Y'all have a great night.
And the temp reads low and you want to know where the wild winds blow. You're tuning in. Here we go. Hey! Below zero. Jason. Below zero. Joshua. Below zero. And Ryan. Below zero. Let's talk weather again.
Oh, it's below weather.
Right on.